By now, everyone is aware of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny's plight. After being poisoned by Russian agents, Navalny recovered in Germany, then returned to Russia only to be arrested on flimsy charges. Now he's facing a lengthy prison sentence, all of it following his latest YouTube video exposing widespread corruption by Vladimir Putin. Looking composed and clean-shaven, Alexei Navalny appeared in a Russian court this week, where he was promptly sentenced to more than 2 years in prison. For weeks, Navalny's supporters have been protesting his arrest, a protest inspired in part by Navalny's investigative reporting into Russian President Vladimir Putin's accumulation of extreme wealth.
Именно тогда началась история его сверхприбыльного бизнеса, нефтетрейдера Gunvor.
The video, narrated in Russian but with English subtitles, is highly detailed and documented. Over the course of 2 hours, Navalny meticulously reveals the depth of Putin's corruption, wealth, greed, even disdain for his own daughters.
Или этих женщин, как он их сам называет.
And he takes viewers to the site of Putin's enormous secret palace, overlooking the Black Sea.
Это не загородный дом, не дача, не резиденция. Это целый город, а скорее королевство. Это прямо отдельное государство внутри России.
Navalny explains that the palace is not owned by a wealthy Russian businessman, as many believe. It belongs to one person.
Владимир Владимирович Путин. Ну и в-четвертых, заглянув внутрь, вы поймете, что президент России психически нездоров. Он помешался на богатстве и роскоши.
Of course, that kind of honesty probably didn't do Navalny any favors when it came to his sentencing this week. But he has created an awareness among his countrymen and perhaps more importantly, around the world. So, Lylah, millions of people have now viewed this thing on YouTube. It is actually remarkable. It's 2 hours long. It's a bit lengthy, but the documentation is unbelievable. He got blueprints. He got that drone video of the entire palace. He was able to recreate an inside tour of the palace. He tricked these Italian furniture makers into explaining how much the furniture was and how much it cost. So he did an incredible job on this.
The level of detail is just astonishing. And so my hat is off to him for all of the prep work he, his crew, anyone else involved did into this. I think some of the outrage over it and some of the justification we're hearing now from the other side has to do with semantics. Just because Putin didn't buy it doesn't mean it's not Putin's. And I think we see a lot of that in the American media. For some reason, I kept thinking of Jonathan Swan from Axios in his interview with Trump and how he was so well prepared. He already knew the answer to every question, before he asked it, kind of thing. And I think that we're seeing now that if you're going to level any sort of accusation at anyone who's in power, you need to bring the receipts. And these are the receipts, ad infinitum. There's so much there. I do think that there's a level of advocacy journalism that we're seeing now more and more. And that also made me, came up to me when I was watching this very long, almost a documentary of sorts. So I'm not sure what the U.S. press would do in this kind of a situation, but it was definitely interesting to see this method used.
Look, I thought this was a wonderful project exposing excess during a time of great need, especially with a global pandemic. What I liked about it in particular, though, is that these are the kinds of stories that are very difficult to tell. When you don't have access to something, you have a lot of data, numbers, and so forth. And using graphics and, of course, using the drone footage, he was able to really put something together that not only was it informative, but it was quite entertaining. For example, when they were heading out to that secret palace, you felt like you were going along. They were inflating that boat and saying, "Nobody, look, here's what we had to go through to get here, and nobody even knows. The cops don't know that we're here." So I thought that was amazing in how it was put together in a way that it made you want to watch. And then finally, I think what it made me do is question, what is my commitment to journalism, right? How far are you willing to go to cover a story, to expose wrongdoing when you know that doing so may land you in jail?
In jail or dead.
Or dead, yeah.
Yeah, Dan makes a great point about the density of the material. I think Lylah brought it up too. I have a hard time if I have to do a 2.5-minute explanatory piece on something mildly complicated for Greater Boston, figuring out how to make it work. And I want to go back and take notes to get a sense of what specifically Navalny used to make 2 hours, incredibly watchable. The funny graphics were one thing, all the ways they make Putin look dopey, putting him in a straitjacket, making him look like Marie Antoinette. There's clearly a great sense of humor at work there. I'm not sure, even on my best day, that I could match Navalny's charisma, though. He's just so smooth. He's a good-looking guy, completely self-assured, knows his stuff inside and out. So, yeah, it was terrific. And I'd love to do something, an eighth of the length, half as good sometime.
Yeah, the guy is a global hero. I mean, let's be honest about it. And his courage is beyond measure. He's putting his life on the line. They've already tried to kill him once. I'm sure they will again. And yet there he is. He came back to Russia when he didn't need to after being treated in Germany, knowing that this was going to happen. So, what can I say? I'm in awe of the guy. As far as the journalistic angle on this, it's almost as if he's fusing, frontline style, high gloss, in-depth documentary making with expert use of graphics and meticulous research with spy magazine style snark and almost wicked humor. And while it might be something that's sort of we're unused to seeing, and it's a little bit jarring, I think there's a lot of potential there. I'd like to see more of it, not less.
I think that's a good point, John, that we aren't used to it. We don't think of Russians as having a sense of humor. I don't know whose fault that is, except for maybe Khrushchev with the shoe on the table, but we don't think of it that way. And we've never seen anything like this come out of that country. And I think, already Biden has dealt with Putin on this, and it'll be interesting to see if this documentary, if this has any sway over whether he will be released, too.